Have you ever gone after a goal or something that you really wanted, only to find that you get in your own way? You say you want to have a successful business, but then you find yourself putting off the very things that could bring success. You say you want to find your partner, your lifelong partner, only to find yourself in another dysfunctional relationship. You say you want to lose weight, only to find yourself on the couch coming up with another excuse as to why you don't want to go to the gym. In this video, I will share what self-sabotage is, what it looks like, and most importantly, what you can do to permanently get out of your own way. So what is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is when there is a part of us that wants a goal, like losing weight, having success in our business, finding the person that we want to marry and have a family with. But then there's this other part of us that doesn't feel safe with this goal. You see, your mind is divided into two parts. We have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is in control of 5% of your behaviors, decisions, and habits, and your subconscious mind is in control of 95% of your behaviors, decisions, and habits. Self-sabotage is that feeling of fighting against yourself and losing. And this creates a lack of self-trust and low self-confidence. Most people who self-sabotage don't trust themselves to follow through on their word. They don't trust that they'll move forward with projects and stick with it. When someone experiences this over and over and over again, they feel unworthy of the things that they want. They give up hope and they stop reaching for more because all they have ever faced is not being able to rely on themselves. But I'm here to tell you that all of that can change because your brain is always changing. And who you are today, it's not written in stone. And with the right help, you can permanently get out of your own way and gain the success that you're looking for. The most important thing that I want you to take away from this video is that self-sabotage is a survival adaptation. When you understand this, it's going to all make sense. You see, your subconscious mind has one very important job, and that's to keep you alive. And it does that by having you repeat what it is familiar with. This statement, when I learned this, completely blew me away, and it was a game changer. What you have survived in the past gets stored in your subconscious mind as survivable because you're here today to tell the story. You're on the other side of the screen. You can share that story with me. I'm going to let you in on a little secret about what happened to me. When I was little, I grew up in a home with an alcoholic mother. So my subconscious mind learned to survive relationships where there was a lot of instability, chaos, and unpredictability. So what do you think I attracted when I was a grown woman and started dating? Who do you think I was attracted to? I was attracted to partners who were unstable, chaotic, and unpredictable, like my mother, because that's what my subconscious mind had survived. No matter how many therapists told me to choose differently, and no matter how hard I tried to choose differently, I was attracted to the same types of partners. We can fast forward to a place where I wanted to start my own business, and I struggled in the beginning. Why? Because in my subconscious mind, when I was little, I saw my father work his butt off to provide for his family. And I learned that in order to be successful, I would never get to see my family. And my subconscious mind linked success with being alone. So if you want to overcome your self-sabotaging behaviors, you have to get your subconscious mind to feel safe with what you consciously desire, period. That's the way to get out of your own way. If you would like help with that, I do offer a complimentary 15-minute Zoom call. The link is in the description below, and we can see if working together would be a good fit. So self-sabotaging behaviors can show up in so many different ways for so many different people, and most people aren't even aware that they're self-sabotaging. So as I go through these different self-sabotaging behaviors, I would love for you to let me know in the comments down below, what self-sabotaging behaviors are you experiencing? So here are some ways self-sabotage can show up in someone's life. So the first one is procrastination. Now I would include perfectionism here because perfectionism is just a form of procrastination. Procrastination is when we say we will do something, but then we keep putting it off. You do everything else but the very things that you need to get done. From what I've noticed in working with different entrepreneurial women, I have found that this behavior is rooted in a fear of success or a fear of failure. Your subconscious mind is procrastinating in order to keep you safe. But safe from what? safe from all the negative things that could possibly happen once you're successful. Now, you might be sitting there going, Jess, success is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. I'll be able to take care of my family. I can take them on vacations. I'll be able to pay my bills. I can pay off my mortgage. Life will be great. Yes, to your conscious mind, success is a wonderful thing. But what is stopping you from having success is your subconscious mind. For instance, some people believe that if they were successful, they would have to work harder and things would require more effort, more time, and more energy. That if they are successful, they're not going to be able to spend time with their family and loved ones. So your subconscious mind, as brilliant as it is, will cause you to procrastinate on the very things that would bring you success because it wants you to stay where you are. Because where you are is survivable. It doesn't know how to survive the success that your conscious mind craves because it's never experienced that before. Another self-sabotaging behavior is people-pleasing, constantly saying yes to others' demands while neglecting your own personal needs, which can lead to burnout and resentment. I've had women come to me and say that they can't lose weight. And when we look deeper, we can notice that they're people-pleasing and taking care of everyone else's needs and putting themselves on the back burner. They never have time for the gym because they're too busy taking care of everyone else and not taking care of themselves. People-pleasing is called the fawn response. When we perceive a threat in our environment, we have different choices in how we can respond. We can fight, we can flee, we can freeze, or we can fawn. So if you grew up in a home with an emotionally unstable caregiver, you learned at a young age to keep the peace by pleasing others at the expense of what you need and want. It's a survival adaptation, and this plays a huge part in relationship self-sabotage. People-pleasing sabotages relationships because you are not showing up as your authentic self. You're showing up as someone who will change who they are in order to make sure that other people are happy so that they can keep the relationship. People-pleasing is really just an unconscious form of manipulation. So let's get into relationship self-sabotage because this includes people-pleasing. It also includes clinging to partners or friends out of the fear of loneliness, ignoring red flags just so that you can have companionship, unconsciously picking fights because your subconscious mind feels the safest there, avoiding difficult conversations, fearing intimacy, pushing people away, running away from relationships. This doesn't just have to be romantic relationships. This can show up in your friendships as well. Another form of self-sabotage is the imposter syndrome, where you're constantly downplaying your achievements, avoiding promotions, or taking risks, convinced that you're not ready, despite all of your qualifications. And below the surface, we're dealing with this fear of success and fear of failure. Another form of self-sabotage is neglecting your physical health. Maybe you're skipping workouts, eating poorly, overeating, undereating. Another form of self-sabotage is over-apologizing, always saying I'm sorry to every little thing. I've experienced women who will say I'm sorry for almost every action that they take. It's like they breathe and say I'm sorry. And the thing is, their subconscious mind learned to do this because they grew up in a dysfunctional household with an authoritarian caregiver that punished them repeatedly. For these women, they grow up in homes where there's a lot of criticism, emotional neglect, or maybe they had perfectionistic parents who punished every minor error that they had, which deep down gives them this deep sense of shame that there's something wrong with who they are. There's something fundamentally wrong with them. Another self-sabotaging behavior is not having any boundaries. Maybe you're letting your family, work, bosses, whoever just encroach on your space and you don't push back. You don't know how to say no, which there can be some overlap there with people pleasing. But really deep down, it's this fear that if I say no, I'm going to lose the relationship. I could lose my job. I could lose connection. But when we don't have boundaries and we can't say no, this leads to exhaustion and burnout and resentment, and it can cause people to just snap because they can't take it anymore. Another self-sabotaging behavior is emotional instability. And some people react impulsively. They lash out in anger and they make these snap decisions during conflicts, or maybe they quit their jobs or break up with their partner on a whim, which erodes trust, not only in the relationship to the other person, but in relationship to themselves. Another self-sabotaging behavior is emotional spending, where you impulse buy to soothe stress. You accumulate more debt that heightens your financial anxiety. People will even emotionally eat. Maybe they get bored, they're stressed, so they go and they snack, which can cause them to gain weight and go against the very goals that they have for their health. Another self-sabotaging behavior is never asking for help and doing it all on your own. This can lead to sabotage not only in your jobs, but also your relationships, leading to burnout and resentment. And the ultimate form of self-sabotage is substance abuse. This is a form of self-harm that's rooted deeply in a lack of self-worth. It's an unconscious way of saying, I will hurt myself more than anyone could ever hurt me. And this can also be connected to ancestral trauma. If you would like to learn more about how ancestral trauma is connected to self-sabotage, you can go ahead and check out this video here.